fair to say that um, the switch over to silver for the amalgamation process is nothing short of inevitable, which is why we went ahead and did it. We have been speaking publicly for quite some time about the effects of the rising commodities prices for those who do the non-currency thing or the fake currency thing. And what we see happening is economic instability is continuing to rise. And with things happening with Dubai World and NAHKEEL causing there to be further decline in confidence in the global economy, it was definitely inevitable that there would be a continued spike in the rise of the cost of gold. The value of gold would dramatically increase because folks deal in substance. They run back to the substance, which is where they should be in the first place. And so the amalgamation process, moving over to silver, 180 ounces of silver for an individual and 270 for a family. That's basically the two installment plans that we are morphing into. Make it easier for folks. It's going to continue to get rougher out there, and folks need to be clear on that. There are many behind-the-scenes dynamics. We've covered them in several different sessions, whether it be some department sessions, Imperial Council meetings, various forums that we do. We discuss this heavily. It's a popular topic, as they say, at the Peace Day Forum here in the Agade-Medina anyway. I don't know what they're doing with any other city areas in terms of discussing the material. I know it is being discussed. So as we begin to disseminate more information on this and in all of our other areas of operation where the staff is on the ground doing forums, this information is being presented for folks to examine and move forward with their own independent investigation to see what's what and how it's relevant and what type of effect it could possibly have on their families. So because we're sparking folks to think, to monitor and observe and think some more, I can say with a straight face that we're doing our folks a service in this regard. What they choose to do with the information is on them. But nonetheless, we do this as a public service, as they say. You're going to continue to see particular things occurring. Our folks have to take stock of the situation. Inflation and hyperinflation are considerable threats, and they can pop out of nowhere. Corporate Dubai is evidence of what I'm talking about when I say that economic instability can pop out of nowhere. Inflation and hyperinflation can pop out of nowhere at a moment's notice. So folks cannot assume and presume that because they don't see an economic storm about to hit doesn't mean there isn't one. And there's clearly plenty of things out there to be cause for concern. The continued change in the weather patterns are going to continue to have an effect on crops. Political instability is going to continue and escalate, displacing a whole lot of folks, displacing a whole lot of finance, and a whole lot of folks losing their lives over stupidity, over someone's or a few someone's coming together with a particular agenda where they pit sides against each other and finance both sides of the conflict. You're going to see this, and our folks have to govern themselves accordingly. I would ask that we all continue to be prudent, to trade and be innovative in a prudent manner. In order for the Moors in general to return to prominence in the global affairs, we have to be coherent and we have to be cohesive. We have to cooperate with one another. It makes sense to do that. It is right and it's just, it's sound, it's reasonable, not just merely plausible. We got to do this thing. And the further things get out of hand, the more we must knuckle down and make that happen. Our safety is in numbers of folks well informed and well trained. Our safety is in numbers of folks who are committed, dedicated, and loyal and devout unto the purpose of food, clothing, and shelter in an independent fashion for all of us and our offspring on our own terms in harmony with the Creator and the ancestors. And the more time we spend in front of the video games and the television and up in the club and other stuff, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, all things in the time and season, but we have to give equal time to handling our collective and individual business in an independent fashion. If we don't do that, our folks who choose not to do that will be beholden to those that do. And for those who like to keep the Eurocentric mentality, they're begging for it. For those who snap out of it and get a clue, the more centric center of gravity is the way to go. It's who we are. We must be ourselves. We must think, act, and speak with that which is inside of our genes. We must be right and just and not hostile unto one another. And defend ourselves against any parties that's hostile. Not be aggressors, but be in a defensive mode. Just be prepared to do for self, collectively, to take care of our own thing. And leave other folks to their own devices. This is all that we ever speak about within the Amexem-Moor-Empire. And I know folks look at us like, that's all you'll talk about. Yeah, that's all we talk about. Because that's all we do. And that's what we know.